Hey fourth graders, it's Mrs. Valgarino here, and I'm here to show you how to do multi-digit division using the long division strategy. So this is something that is new that we have not learned yet. We have talked about one by one digit division, but now we're diving into multi-digit. So a few things we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about, well, what does it actually mean to divide? I'm going to show you some 2-digit divided by 1-digit problems, and I'm also going to show you some 3-digit divided by 1-digit problems with and without remainders. So we're going to have a little bit of a variety today. Okay, so remember that if you need to pause this video along the way, please do that so you can follow along. To do this video, I would like you to have a paper and a pencil so that you can write down each of the problems that we do. So have a paper, a pencil, and be ready to learn some long division. Okay, so we're going to talk about what does it mean to divide. So I have a little problem right here for you. It says there are 96 pieces of candy. Mrs. Valgarino, Mrs. Miller, and Miss Haslett need to divide that candy evenly among the 3 classes. How much does each class get? So we are trying to divide them into equal groups. Okay, so we have 96 pieces. We are trying to divide them within 3 classes, and we want to know how much does each class get. So with division, we want to divide those into 3 equal groups. So I'm going to go ahead and draw my 3 groups. And my 3 groups represent classes, right? So I would have 4A, I would have 4B, and 4C. Okay, so I could sit here and I could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and so on until I got up to 96 pieces. But let's be honest, kiddos, that would take me way too much time. Okay, so that might work when maybe we're doing smaller division problems, but that strategy does not work when we get into these bigger multi-digit problems. So instead of doing that, I'm going to use long division. So when we're dividing, we are trying to take our dividend, which would be 96, and we are dividing it by our divisor, the smaller number, to see how many equal groups we can get. So 96 divided into 3 different equal groups. Sometimes we might have things that are left over called a remainder, and sometimes we may not. So this strategy, like we said, is going to take us too much time. So let's learn a different strategy called long division. Okay, so we're going to start with our dividend. Okay, this is our bigger number in the problem that we are going to divide. Okay, then we have a divisor. This is going to be our smaller number in the problem that this is the number of groups we're trying to divide into. So we're taking 96 and dividing that into three groups. So when we do long division, it looks like this. So we have our dividend, on the inside of, I like to call it a little hut because that's what it looks like. Our dividend on the outside, and then we have our divisor right here on the outside. Okay, so now we can follow a few steps. So hopefully you were supposed to watch that division wrap video, and I refer to that video a lot because that helps us remember the steps. So there's 5 different steps to long division. We have divide, multiply, and subtract. Bring it on down and bring it on back. And then we also, at the end, check and see if we have a remainder. There's a question mark there because we might not always have a remainder. Okay, some problems we may, some problems we don't. So divide, multiply, then subtract, bring it on down, and bring it on back. Okay, so let's get started and try out this strategy. So we're going to take our divisor, and we are going to start with divide. Okay, so we're going to divide just by this first digit. So we're going to think, like, how many groups of 3 could we fit into 9? Or what's 9 divided by 3? So what I like to do is I like to skip count by 3s until I get close to 9, but I don't want to go over, okay? So if I skip count by 3s, I'd have 3, 6, 9. So that'd be 1, 2, 3. So 3 would go on top, okay? Then I'm going to go ahead and multiply. I'm going to multiply 3 times 3. And 3 times 3 is 9. Okay. Then I'm going to subtract. 9 minus 9 would be 0. And I'm going to bring it on down and bring it on back. And I'm going to bring down the 6. Okay, then we're going to go back up to divide because we're not to the bottom yet, so we don't need to worry about that remainder. And we're going to do the same thing. So divide 6 divided by 3, or 3 times what would get you close to 6? Well, I know that 3 times 2 gives me 6. That's perfect. So I'm going to put a 2 on top. So that was divide. Now I'm going to multiply. 2 times 3 is 6. Subtract, bring it on down and bring it on back. I don't have any other numbers in my dividend to bring down. And then that brings me to remainder. I do not have a remainder here because the bottom number is 0. And I don't have any numbers to bring down from my dividend. So I'm done. So now I'm able to get my quotient, which is my answer to a division problem. So I would say that 96 divided by 3 equals 32. So that would mean each class would get 32 pieces of candy. And luckily, for this problem, we don't have a remainder, so we don't have any candy left over. So 32, 3 equal groups of 32 would equal 96. Okay? So now we're going to go through and do a couple of problems together to practice. Okay, this one is 84 divided by 2. So when I'm using long division, I want to set up with my dividend on the inside of the little hut, and my 2, my divisor, always goes on the outside. So it should look like this, and then my quotient, of course, my answer, will always go on top there. Okay, so let's start with our steps. We're going to first divide. And what I like to do is kind of cover up that second digit there for now and think about how many 2s can fit into 8. Or what's 8 divided by 2? Okay, well, 2, 4, 6, 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4 times. 4 times 2 is 8. So 4. Then we're going to multiply. 4 times 2 is 8. We're going to subtract. 8 minus 8 is 0. Bring it on down and bring it on back. I'm going to bring on down my 4. And then I'm not to the end yet, so I'm going to go right back up to divide. See how many 2s can I fit into 4. So if I skip count by 2s, 2, 4, so twice. So I'm going to put my 2 up top. Multiply. 2 times 2 is 4. Subtract. Bring it on down and bring it on back. If I look at my dividend up here, I don't have any other numbers to bring on down and bring on back, which tells me that I am done with the problem. And now I'm going to take a look if I have a remainder. So I have a 0 at the bottom here. That means I do not have a remainder. So I was able to divide this into equal groups. Up here is my quotient. So my end problem would be 84 divided by 2 equals 42. Okay, if I wanted to check that, I could use multiplication, right? And just switch this around. I could say 42 times 2 equals 84. Because we know that division is the opposite of multiplication and vice versa. Okay. All right, let's go to the next one. Okay, 75 divided by 3. So my bigger number we know is my dividend. I'm going to put my dividend on the inside. We know that the smaller number is our divisor, which we always put on the outside. And we know on top is going to be our quotient. Okay, so let's get started. So we're going to start with divide. So we're going to think about what's 7 divided by 3? Or how close can I get to 7 if I skip counted by 3? That's how I do it. So let's see, 3, 6, 9, I need to stop. Well, 9 goes over, I can't go over, but 6 is close to 7 without going over. So 1, 2, okay, twice. I can put 3 or 2 3s into 7. So I'm going to put a 2 on top. Oh, that's an ugly 2. There we go. And then I'm going to multiply. 2 times 3 equals 6. Subtract. 7 minus 6 is 1. Bring it on down and bring it on back. 15. Okay, same thing. Now, how many 3's could I get into 15? Or 15 divided by 3 is what? So let's see, 3, 6, 9, 12. Another 3 would be 15. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, multiply. 5 times 3 is 15. Subtract. Bring it on down and bring it on back. We have nothing to bring on down. And now we can see if we have a remainder. So we have a 0 down here. So it looks like we do not have a remainder. So our problem would be 75 divided by 3 equals 25. So we have our dividend, divisor, and our quotient, or our answer for that one. Okay, let's go to the next one. We are going to go into some 3-digit divided by 1 digit. So no matter how big the numbers get, we still keep our strategy the same. So that's one thing that's really nice about this strategy is it stays the same. We just have to go through these different steps a few more times. Okay, so let's start with our dividend is 124 divided by our divisor, which is 4. Okay, so let's start with divide, okay? So let's take a look. So we have 4. We're going to take a look at our first digit, 1. Well, in this case, a 1 is smaller than the 4, so I can't fit any groups of 4 into a 1. So in this case, what we can do is we can look over at the first 2 digits. And now we can think about, well, how many 4's can we fit into 12? Well, let's see. 4, another 4 is 8, another 4 is 12. There we go. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. So 3. Multiply. 4 times 3 is 12. Subtract. 12 minus 12 is 0. Bring it on down and bring it on back. We're going to bring on down our 4. Okay. Now we'll go back. Oh my goodness. Excuse me, kiddos. Now we're going to go back to divide. How many 4's can we fit into 4? Well, 1. So we'll put our 1 on top. We'll go to multiply. 1 times 4 is 4. Subtract. 4 minus 4 is 0. Bring it on down and bring it on back. We have no other numbers in our problem, so we have nothing to bring down. A remainder, we have a 0, so we do not have a remainder for this problem. So our answer would be 31. So our problem is 124 divided by 4 equals 31. Okay. All right, one more. I believe this is our last 1, another 3 by 1 digit. So we have our dividend, which is 288. Oops. Okay, divided by our divisor, which is 5. Okay, so our first step, divide. Let's see, how many 5s can we fit into 2? Well, none, because 2 is too small. 2 is smaller than 5. So we'll do what we did like with the last problem. We're going to just go to 28 then. How many 5s can we fit into 28? Well, let's see. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Well, 30 goes over. It's too big. 25 is our closest to 28 without going over. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Then we'll multiply. 5 times 5 is 25. Okay. Also notice, kiddos, where I put that number 5. I didn't put the 5 over the 2. I put it over the 8. And that's because we didn't divide by that 2. We divided by 28. So that's why I put that 5 right up there. Okay, that's why I did that. Now we'll go to subtract. 28 minus 25 is 3. Bring it on down and bring it on back. Okay, 38. So now we're taking, we're going to go back up to divide. And 38 divided by 5. So how many groups of 5 can we fit into 38 without going over? So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. Okay, 40 goes over. 35 is our closest. So that would be 7. So 7 groups of 5. Okay, multiply. 7 times 5 is 35. Subtract. 38 minus 35 would be 3. Bring it on down and bring it on back. We don't have anything to bring on down. That was our last digit. And now we'll take a look if we have a remainder. So the way we know if we are done dividing, so if there's a number at the bottom here, the way we know we're done with this problem is if the remainder at the bottom is smaller than our divisor. So in this case, I have a 3 at the bottom here. And that would be my remainder. And I know that I don't have to keep dividing because it's smaller than my divisor. I can't fit a group of 5 into 3. 3 is too small. So I would know that for this problem, I do have a remainder. So what we do for remainders is we put R3. And R stands for remainder. So what this means is we were able to make 57 equal groups of 5. But we had 3 that were left over that we couldn't fit into equal groups. Okay, so if we were writing down the answer to this problem, we would just write it out as 288 divided by 5 equals 57 remainder 3 is how we would write the answer to that problem. So R3, R would stand for remainder. Okay, so kiddos, I know this is a new skill. I know it might be more challenging since we're not together to do this, but replay this video, go back to different problems as many times as you would like. I'm available to you via phone. We could also do a Zoom call one-on-one if you needed some help, but I'm here to help you in any virtual way that I can, and I would love to connect with you if this is a challenge as you start practicing. Okay, so thanks for listening. Thanks for being good learners, and good luck on your assignments. Bye, kiddos.